This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Friday at Pimlico in Baltimore. I'm Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, and we are talking about the Friday stakes races, 4 graded stakes races at Pimlico on Preakness Eve. It's a great card on Friday. They've got 3 other stakes races that are ungraded, some really good betting opportunities there. So, Jim, let's jump into the 8th race. It's the Miss Preakness, Grade 3, for 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. You've got the horses that ran 1-2 in the Beaumont here at Keeneland last month. Miss Ella for Graham Motion and Divine Dawn for Larry Jones. You've got Baffert's horse from California, Enchanting Lady, who threw in a real clunker on Derby weekend. Where'd you land?
Those 3. You must have seen my notes before we started talking, because I think the 2 fillies exiting the Keeneland Beaumont, the Grade 2, could be 1-2 again. I give the edge to Miss Ella simply because she's only run twice, and she's run really well both times. Broke her maiden by 3 lengths at Gulfstream Park at 16-1. I can't imagine a Graham Motion horse going off at 16-1 in a maiden special weight there. It must have been an awfully tough field. And then she came back in the Beaumont and won that by 2.5. I mean, won pretty easily, really. And I think that she's probably the choice here. But I can make a case for Divine Dawn. I think Divine Dawn cutting back from the 7 furlongs of the Beaumont to 6 furlongs might suit her a little bit better, might hold her speed a little longer. So I think that she's got a shot. She faded at 7 furlongs after contesting the pace. And then I'm just going to toss Enchanting Lady, the 1 horse. I'm going to toss her 8 bells and just say she didn't like Churchill. She didn't like something at Churchill that day. She ran on Oaks Day, and she just threw a complete clunker in at 2-1. So Promise Me Silver won that race, and Enchanting Lady was the favorite in that race. And I think just toss it. You go back to the 98 buyer in the last race at Santa Anita, and she fits here well. But I'm going to take those 3 on top, with Miss Ella probably keying on top, with Divine Dawn the 6 and Enchanting Lady the 1 blower.
I'm going to go Enchanting Lady. I took her in the 8 bells, and you're right, she was just dreadful in that race. Broke in kind of a tangle and never really seemed like she got interested in running. And there were a few of the Baffert horses, and it was the ones, interestingly, that had trained in California that ran the poorest. The ones that had trained at Churchill ran better, and this horse had kept her in California. If she runs back to that race on April 5th of a 98 buyer, then I think she wins this. And I heard Baffert interviewed this week, and he said, he's just kind of throwing that last race out and giving her another chance. Great draw, I think, with her speed down on the inside. So I'm going to take Enchanting Lady, use her over Miss Ella, Divine Dawn, and also the 10 Spark, and then turn those the other way. But the key is Enchanting Lady for me. 10th race is the Grade 3 Allaire DuPont Distaff. Fillies and mares 3 and up going a mile and an 1/8. And I took Lunar Surge in here. She's got more seconds and thirds than wins, which I don't normally like. But in looking at how she's run these 2 races, I just think she's taken her game to a new level this year. And she would have won the last race easily, if not for getting pinned down on the rail midway through the stretch in the race at Keeneland. And I think previously she was running on the inside on a day where that was not the place to be. So third off a layoff, a couple of troubled trips. I think she's just a better mare than she's been in the past, and I think she wins this. But I'm leery of those 9 third-place finishes. But I'm going to go Lunar Surge. Going to use her with Stop Charging Maria, Fortunate Pearl for Graham Motion, who often runs well on this big Preakness weekend with the base there in that part of the country. And then Yahilwa from the West Coast for Cassidy, the 10. So 1 over 2, 5, 10, and then turn them the other way with the 1 Lunar Surge as my key horse. How about you?
Yeah, I like Lunar Surge a lot. I think you make a case for she should have won the double dog there and just didn't have a chance to get through on the inside. If she won that race, she would probably go off as the favorite here, but she didn't. And I went with Stop Charging Maria. And the difference in Lunar Surge and Stop Charging Maria is simply back class. You look at Lunar Surge's PPs, and you're looking at optional $62,000 claimers at Aqueduct and at Laurel, $100,000 stakes race. And then you look back at Stop Charging Maria. She's won 2 Grade 1s in her career and almost won the Madison last time out. So I'm going with the class over the horse that's getting better. And sometimes that's a good angle, sometimes it's not. But taking Stop Charging Maria on top with Lunar Surge second. Blue Violet, who finished third, just got me a length and a half in the double dog there. just couldn't quite hold on. And Larry Jones gets them ready, and I think she'll be better second off a layoff. So I would take Stop Charging Maria on top. I would certainly use your horse in the all the exotics, and I would also use the horse that I like in the, underneath is Before You Know It, the 7 horse on the outside, getting a lot better right now, and just almost won a Grade 3 at Aqueduct at a mile and 8, and this distance is a little tricky for these fillies. So I think that you might want to key her below, but you also key Lunar Surge below because she's run third 9 times out of 19, which is amazing.
Black Eyed Susan is the 11th race, Grade 2 for 3-year-old fillies, going a mile and an 8th. And you've got a horse that ran in the Oaks and include Betty. You've got a horse that was pointed for the Oaks by Baffert Luminance, and he held her out, runs her here. She's going to be going postward as the favorite. And this is a wager that's also tied to the Preakness, like the Oaks Derby double. You got the Black Eyed Susan Preakness double from Friday to Saturday. Who do you like in the Black Eyed Susan?
I liked Luminance until I looked at what happened to Stellar Wind in the Oaks. And those West Coast horses just didn't run that well in Kentucky. And so Luminance got beat by 5.5 by Stellar Wind. They held her out of the Oaks, and she did come to Churchill and had a nice work on May the 9th, which is a week after the Oaks, first out of 23 at a flat minute at 5 furlongs. So Baffert gets them ready. I'm still going to go with Luminance, but I'm not as crazy about her as first glance. I really like Danessa Deluxe, the 1 horse for Velasquez. She ran behind Bird at the Wire, who came back and was one of the favorites in the Oaks. Navarro's 29% trainer. Johnny B rides her back. Lots of reasons to like Danessa Deluxe. May get overlooked in the betting a little bit with the Baffert horse from the outside. And then the third horse I liked was Odd Chocolate for Neil Howard, 2 for 2. Won at Keeneland, a mile and 16th, and won fairly easily. Went 3 wide and cleared off, and won by almost 2 lengths. Nice get-ready race for this with a buyer progression of 73 to 82. So if she steps her game up, she's right there with those top 2 horses. Have got a little more experience, but 2 for 2 isn't bad, and I'd take her at a price. But Luminance is my very weak pick in the Black Eyed Susan.
I didn't have a strong opinion in here, so I wanted a little value, and I ended up looking at Include Betty. I went back and watched the Oaks, and she was really full of run late in the stretch run of that race and encountered a bunch of trouble, and I think ran a better race than it looks on paper. She wasn't going to win, but she might have gotten third with a clear trip. And if she did, she'd have it would have been, I think, her 3rd or 4th race in a row with an improving buyer. So she's on the steady improvement curve. I think a mile and an 8th may well be her best distance. And she goes from Rosemary Holmeister to Van Dyke. I think that's an improvement. And I think Include Betty's got a shot here at a little bit of a price. And I'm going to use her with Danessa Deluxe, Divine Aida, and Luminance, 1, 7, and 8, keying on the 5, Include Betty. And that's part of the Black Eyed Susan Preakness double. I would use Include Betty, Danessa Deluxe. I wouldn't use Luminance only because it's not going to pay anything with the other Bafferts and the Preakness. So I'm going to try to Danessa Deluxe and Include Betty and use those 2 with American Pharaoh and Dortmund in the Preakness. How about you?
Yeah, I think I just missed with Firing Line in the Derby. He's not going to be that much of a price, but I really think he's sitting on a big race, and I would use him. And the top 3 are the logical choices in the Preakness. And I would probably just go ahead and play a bigger ticket than just a $2 ticket and use the horse that I like, the Danessa Deluxe. The 1 horse might get a little price in here, so maybe a $10 double or something like that with Danessa Deluxe back to those 3 horses.
14th race on the Friday card at Pimlico is the Grade 3 Pimlico Special for 3-year-olds and up at a mile and 3/16. And you've got Commissioner coming off a big effort down in Florida, the Belmont runner-up from last year, headlining this field. Who did you like?
Yeah, if he runs the 109, they're running for second place here, and I would key him in all the late pick 4s, pick 5s. Commissioner, if he runs back to the skip away, he's much the best in here. But I think there's a couple other horses that might be on an uptick. One of them is top billing, the 8 horse for Shug McGahee, and he came back off a long layoff at Gulfstream in February. He'd been off for a year. Didn't run very well, but ran a lot better at Keeneland in the optional claimer, and only got beat by a nose by Noble Bird. So he needs a lot of pace up front, but he might get it here if somebody goes with Commissioner. Commissioner is hung on the outside in the 10 hole, so that might be a strike against, but I think he's probably too good for these. Paige McKinney would be my horse to close for a piece, the 5-horse who ran big at 33-1 last time out at Charlestown in the Charlestown Classic, the one Moreno won. So Paige McKinney would be my key underneath, but I would use Commissioner on top of 10 horse.
I'm going to take Top Billing. I love that 12-1 morning line price. And this is an ambitious move for Shug McGahee. I mean, he could just keep this horse in an allowance race up at Belmont Park, get a little confidence builder in him, and then pick a spot. But they come in here for, I think these were the connections, Farish and Hudson, that won the Preakness in 72 with BBB and upset Riva Ridge, if memory serves. And they bring Top Billing in here, often a runner-up effort and allowance company. So that's an ambitious effort or move for Shug McGahee. It's the third, as you mentioned, third off that long layoff. And they're really three sharp works since the race at Keeneland. And Noble Bird, who beat him, came back and ran well at Churchill Derby Week. So mainly those reasons, and the 12-1 for McGahee and Rosario. I think this horse got a big shot to run well. That could mean second, could mean third, but I'm going to take a shot with Top Billing to upset him and win the Pimlico Special. Going to use him with Commissioner, with Tapiture for Asmussen, the 1, and the 2 Transparent for McLaughlin, who was almost my pick before I got off onto Top Billing. But McLaughlin's had such a strong spring. But I'm going to go Top Billing, the 8-horse, to win the Pimlico Special. We'll be back with another podcast for Saturday covering all the big stakes races on the Preakness Day card at Pimlico. Make sure you keep your Keeneland Select accounts funded for the weekend. Drive-through wagering this weekend if you want to make Preakness Day bets, and it's a great chance to come out to Keeneland for simulcasting for the Preakness. You guys make a big party of it, right, Jim?
We do, and Preakness is a lot like the Oaks. It's not nearly as crazy as Derby Day is. It's beautiful in the paddock. It's plenty of wagering windows. The drive-through is open on Friday from 8 to 3, so you can wager, 4 windows open, and you can wager Preakness races as well if you want to. And then Saturday we're open from 8 a.m. at the drive-through all the way through the Preakness race, and we open the grandstand at 10:15. First race for Pimlico is 10:30 on Saturday.
Best of luck with your wagers for Preakness weekend, and again, the In the Money podcast back for the Saturday card as well. So double duty this weekend for the In the Money podcast from KeenelandSelect.com. Best of luck with your wagers.